Welcome to another RH2 video. I wanted to make another RH2 video a lot sooner than that one montage, by the way. Go run that montage up. That's one of my best montages, I think. But I was doing some research on builds. A lot of people in the community, especially in my league, join up IBA, by the way. A lot of people have been calling me the build scientist because I'm just coming up with all these insane builds down to like the perfect statistics. Like earlier today I made a slashing sharpshooter that got 83 badges. Like 83 is an absurd amount of badges. And not only that, the build was still like good. But with that being said, today I'm going to make a build that I think a lot of people may get the name. I don't know too much like about how rare the name is, but the way that the build is might shock you. So it is small forward. Every build that I make is left hand. I'm gonna go with 6'5", and we're gonna go lowest weight. I personally prefer the male choice 3 voice, but that doesn't really matter because I don't really do callouts. Now, you're gonna start. The only defensive stat on the build you're gonna upgrade is you're gonna put your perimeter at an 85. Now, you could put it a little bit lower, you could put it at an 80 and save it for other stats, but I personally believe that having gold bullhorn will be nice. Even though you have 83 speed, you're still going to be slower than a lot of guards, and you're mainly going to be playing point guard with this build, so you need to be able to keep up. Now, you could obviously go 84 steel. This is the only SF height that allows for gold pickpocket. You're going to see why you don't have the attribute points to go with that. You're obviously going to max out speed. Max out Excel. Put stamina at a 90. And put vertical at an 80. And I'm going to explain why the vertical is so high in just a second. Now, because of the fact that you're small forward, I'm relatively sure that blow-bys are position-based, meaning a 6'5" small forward would even be able to blow-by a 6'6" point guard. However, I don't know this for sure. So just in case, I put the strength at 26 on all my builds, and I've seen a little bit of a chance of getting a blow-by. It's very rare. It could be a speed thing, could be a strength thing, could be a position thing, I don't know, but I just do it just because I always seem to have one extra point, and it just makes sense to put it in strength. Now for pass accuracy, you're going to put it at an 87. 88 is pointless. You get 11 passing badges, so 11 possible playmaking badges. Obviously, you're not going to use them all for playmaking, because since this build is a small SF, you're going to get an 80 ball handle, which allows for silver handles for days, silver unpluckable, silver quick chain, silver space creator, which you're all going to use. So that's already around 11, 12 playmaking badge points down the drain. You're also going to get 76 speed with ball, which allows bronze ankle breaker, which is great for a small forward because most don't get it. Now for finishing, you're going to put your close shot all the way up to an 85. You're going to put your close shot to an 85. It gives you Hall of Fame Teardropper and Gold Pro Touch. Pro Touch is an amazing badge, by the way. More people should run it. If you had the opportunity to get your driving lay to an 86, it would give you an extra finishing badge. But you're going to put it at an 84. Silver Acrobat is really all that you need. For driving dunk, you're going to max that out. And I think now it's about time I explain how the vertical works. I've noticed that especially when I first made my main guard, I noticed that with a 75 vert, I wasn't making anywhere near enough white dunks because my green window was already so small. But when I put 80 vert, I made almost every single dunk that I took. I've reset like 380 overalls. It got to the point where I had like 115,000 coins trying to find the perfect build, so I will tell you 80 vert is amazing. Now for your shooting in your mid-range, you're gonna just max them out as far as they can go. 82 mid-range, 79 three-pointer, amazing stats. I mean, if you can time your bar, you can get silver or gold quick draw. Personally, I think silver is a lot better than gold. It's either silver or Hall of Fame. And it allows you to still have a lot of your finishing badges. Now, obviously, you could lower the three-pointer to a 78 and the mid-range to an 80 and like max your pass sack, your ball handle, stuff like that. I don't really find it all that necessary. I think this is the perfect way to make this build, and now we go to the takeovers. Obviously, Matador. This build isn't the fastest. Honestly, it really isn't the fastest, so I'd say Matador. Now, for your secondary, a lot of people would say Flight Crew, and for me personally, I'm going Hive Mind, and you might be wondering, isn't Hive Mind useless? Well, no. One of the main important stats on defense is your acceleration. Heat Press gives steal and perimeter, Fundamental gives driving layup and close shot, vertical. None of them give acceleration, and for defense, this is basically like a defensive thing too, because acceleration will help you sprint and catch up to faster players, it'll help you get blow-bys, and obviously pass accuracy is going to help because in this game passing isn't great, so I personally like Hive Mind, and also, you're running point guard. Pretty much, if you're playing League with this build, you're running point guard, so it's nice to have the extra passing. Now here you are. Obviously, specializes in athleticism, playmaking, inside scoring. Not the most attractive things, but the build name is great. Point forward is great. Now it would have been really cool to get something like a small forward ankle taker, but obviously that build, I don't even think is possible. I think it's like completely out of the game, even for point guards, which is mainly what it's for. Now for badges, obviously, you get silver contact finisher, great. Acrobat, great. Gold Relentless, you could go silver Pro Touch, silver Giant Slayer. You could honestly go Hall of Fame Relentless. You could run exactly this. I don't think you're really going to be taking that many layups, so I think Bronze Consistent's fine. And Hall of Fame Relentless is really going to help with your dunks. Silver Giant Slayer is nice because you can get to the rim on bigs if they're in the paint. Silver Pro Touch is a great badge, especially for floaters. If y'all don't do floaters, you need to do more floaters. They're great. Obviously, Teardropper is a great badge, but Teardropper doesn't boost your green window. It boosts the amount of whites that you make. So now for shooting badges, obviously you can get Bronze Range Extender. You can shoot from pretty deep with this build. If you were to go Spotlight or Lone Ranger, you could obviously shoot deeper when you get it active, but I don't think that's necessary. You can get Silver Fearless Shooter. It is 5 badge points. Sorry, it is 4 badge points, but it's still a good badge. Bronze Slingshot is great. Silver Tireless Shooter is great. Even if you wanted, you could run Gold Catch and Shoot and run Silver Tireless, but me personally, I'm going to be ISOing on this build. So I could honestly run Bronze Catch and Shoot and Gold Tireless Shooter. This is what I'm going to run. Now for playmaking badges, obviously 4 for Handles for Days, 4 for Space Creator, and 3 for Quick Chain. You're also going to spend another on Ankle Breaker. So now you only have 8 left. You can go Gold Dimer and Silver Unpluckable. Lob City Passer is great, however we know by now that there's going to be an incoming lob nerf. I'm not sure when it's going to get addressed, and Bailout's useless. So this is what I would run personally. If you wanted to and you're not going to dribble that much, you could sacrifice Silver Space Creator and 1 badge of Unpluckable and go with Hall of Fame Dimer. But I'm going to go with this. And then defensively, you do still get Silver Clamps, Gold Bullhorn, and Bronze Tireless Defender. Now, it would help if you had a steal on this build, but I wasn't about to sacrifice close shot or driving layup to get the most accurate steal stat. Now, ISOing with this build, you have every dribble move except for like the fast snatchback, the fast double cross, which is probably the best move in the game, honestly, and you don't have half spin. Now, these are pretty costly moves. I will say it is kind of a problem on my main guard, which I'm grinding right now. It's only like a 69 right now, but It'll be up pretty quickly, and I'm going to make a video on it soon as well. But you have a lot of inside scoring opportunities that really don't need handles to get open. You've got so much stamina, and you have Hall of Fame Relentless Finisher. You can get to the rim with ease. You can dunk on anybody, even with only an 85 driving dunk. Having the 80 handles allows for you to get a lot of the good dribble packages. You may be missing out on a few, but that's okay. And then obviously Matador Takeover. You're going to go flying. You're going to get a lot of space. And it helps because you only have an 81 ball handle, which is what I went with on my guard as well. Now, I'm going to go through the pros and cons of this build. Pros. It's extremely fast for a small forward. It moves really well. It can shoot decently well. The badges on it are amazing. It gets 72 badges as a small forward, which is an incredible count. It's really good at everything, honestly. It's mediocre, really, at shooting. It's great at finishing. I mean, 24 finishing badges on a build that's not called a slasher. It's called a point forward. That's pretty unique. The playmaking badges obviously are good. It's a playmaker. It's a point forward. It can floater really well, which is a really underrated mechanic in this game, especially with a badge like Consistent Finisher. Even if you white a floater, you've got Gold Pro Touch. They're going to go in a lot. There's a lot of things you can do with this build to get open. Hop step dunks. Well, that wasn't a dunk. You can do hop step dunks, which are a really underrated move in this game. You're going to make a lot of white dunks. Even the perimeter defense is really good. And your speed is just up there well enough with like a tall shooting guard. So you're going to be able to guard and move around pretty well. The cons, obviously, your strength isn't that high. Now, I'm not sure how important strength is, especially for a build that's running point guard. Now, I know like some guards will go 40 strength, maybe 45, 50 strength. Personally, I don't do that on my builds. I get blown by a little bit, but it never really gives up layups for me. I don't know if I'm just playing players that don't really use it that well, or it's just not that important because players get worried when they see the animation, they think they're getting pushed back. I'm not really sure. Another con is obviously the shooting. It's not the greatest. It is a shorter small forward. Like a taller small forward would get an 85-3. This only gets a 79. However, don't be pushed away from the build because the shooting isn't that great. Obviously, if you want to sacrifice the 80 ball handle, there is another version of this build that you can make, which I will make in this video, because a lot of people may not want the 80 ball handle just to get the double behind the back. Me personally, I do. Another reason for this is the speed, because the speed is going to go down if you go up 2 heights. It's going to be a 79 instead of an 83. The dunking is going to be a lot better, but you may also not get the point forward name, and I'm going to show you why you're not going to get the point forward name. And speaking of the name, honestly, the best thing about this build is the name. I thought this was going to be like something like a two-way slashing playmaker or something like that. Like a slashing playmaker because it doesn't have steal. However, that was not the case, and it ended up being a point forward because it has the 87 passing. So it was really cool to be able to get a unique build name like that. I rarely see point forwards, and this build is going to be the second build that I grind after my main build. I may even start grinding it after I hit 80 on my main build, solely because right now with gym leagues, it's not really necessary to be over an 80 if you can play good defense and you have good stats. So having multiple builds I could use would be fun. Now we're going to get into the 75 handle version of the point forward. Now I'm going to go ahead and let you know you're not going to be able to get the 86 passing, which you need for the build to be called a point forward. I'm 99% sure that that's what you need. You could put it at 82 passing and see if that works. So I'll go ahead and do that. But I'm 99% sure you don't get the name point forward. Obviously with this, you're going to have a 90 driving dunk. I would honestly put it at 88, just so you're not wasting extra points, and your vertical also at an 80. The stamina will be concurrent and stay at a 90. The speed will go as high as it can go, which is only 79 on this build, and 74 acceleration, so you only get bronze space creator. And you're going to notice you're going to lose badges. You could obviously go 65 post control on this build just to get the badges back. Obviously, I don't think you'd use post control on this, but I don't think that's necessary. You go 85 driving layup. Sorry, 85 close shot, and you would go with an 86 driving lay. You could go 90. I'll see if I have enough points for 90, but I personally don't think I do. You can go 90 perimeter defense, and then the shooting. Now with this build, I would also max the shooting. You could obviously stay with an 83, but you're going to notice you do get a few extra shooting badges compared to the other point forward. The other point forward got 24 and 21 in the first 2 categories. This gets 27 and 21, which is a 7 increase. It also gets more defensive badges by 1 because of 90 perimeter defense, and it gets 15 playmaking badges compared to 20 on the other build. So the other build got a grand total of 72 badges. This build, 75 badges. A couple things you can do. You have 3 attribute points left here. If you're willing to sacrifice your speed with ball just a little bit and put it down to a 70, you can get an extra badge point here for finishing, which I'm going to say is absolutely worth it. Another thing you could do is you could lower your 3 to an 81, which is still a great stat. And you can lower your passing accuracy by 1 and put it into driving dunk, which I also think is great. Now for the takeovers, I'm going to keep them the same just because I really like the whole point forward aspect, but you're going to see the name as 3-level scorer. And I personally hate the name 3-level scorer, so unfortunately you're not going to get the name point forward, which is quite disappointing. So with these extra points from the passing accuracy, you can put your speed with ball back up to a 71. Honestly, you could put the speed down from a 78 and then put that up there to a 72 and go with this. Don't get me wrong, I still believe that this is an excellent build. This is a 76 badge small forward. However, I personally prefer the point forward just for the extra dribble moves and the extra playmaking badges, and it really feels like a point forward. Now for this build, obviously you don't have the name. It's not that big of a deal. You do get gold contact finisher and 4 extra badges. You're still going to go silver acrobat. Instead, you're going to go silver consistent finisher along with Hall of Fame relentless finisher. And you still get silver giant slayer and silver pro touch. So you're going to notice, obviously, a lot better badges. You could use Lob City finisher. Me personally, I don't really care that much. You're going to get silver quick draw. You're going to get silver range extender and silver slingshot. Still get silver fearless shooter. Obviously, I'm going to run this the exact same. So these 2 are the only things that change. Still better shooting badges. Playmaking badges, you're only going to get bronze in these 2. You will get silver quick chain, but the dribbling is going to be a lot slower. You still get bronze ankle breaker. You're still going to be able to get gold dimer. However, you're only going to get bronze unpluckable. You can run bronze lob city passer. Now for defense, you do obviously have the option of gold bullhorn and gold clamps. However, I do recommend running silver tireless. I think just having the extra stamina doesn't hurt. For this build, you do sacrifice the double behind the back move. You still have double cross, you still have snatchbacks like this. And obviously this build does have a better 3-pointer than the other build. It has an 81. You could put it up to an 82 if you really wanted to. I think 81 is fine. You see it on a lot of big men. This thing has a 90 driving dunk, which is higher than the other. You're going to get gold contact finisher. I do like this build. I personally think it's a little slow, which is its only downfall, and the handles really aren't that quick compared to the other build. However, it's still a great build, and when you get Matador and Hivemind active, it's still going to work around the same as the other one did. Matador really helps this build a lot more than it helps the point forward though. Now pros and cons with this build. This build obviously has much better 3-pointer. Honestly, it made two 3-pointer may not seem like much of a difference, but the silver range extender does make a huge difference with the shooting. Obviously, you get a lot more shooting badges. Silver slingshot's a lot better than bronze. The dunking is better. The finishing stats are better. Obviously, you lose a lot of playmaking badges. You still get similar playmaking badges, which doesn't really hurt as much as you might think. I honestly just prefer the name point forward. This is also a really good build, don't get me wrong. It moves extremely well. It can shoot a lot deeper. And now for cons. Obviously, you still have the problem of no steal. You're only 79 speed, which honestly isn't that bad when you think about it. However, the acceleration is extremely poor, which is why I'm running Hivemind. And on this build, running Hivemind sacrifice a lot of opportunity compared to running it on the point forward, which made a lot more sense. A couple last little tweaks with the build. I did take 2 off of the driving dunk and put it 1 onto strength, so you get 26 strength, and 1 onto 3-pointer. Another thing you could do is sacrifice 1 more speed with ball and put it into your speed, so you have more speed on defense. This may affect your dribble animations. I'm not 100% sure on that, So if it does, it doesn't really matter too much. However, I will say with the lack of speed with ball of a small forward, you're not going to get the dribble animations you want, so keep that in mind. Now when deciding which of the two builds is better, I'm honestly going to have to say that the 3-level score is a better build. I'm going to say it's close, solely because of the badge count of the point forward. However, the shooting and the finishing is better on the 3-level score. The defense is also slightly better, even though you're not going to use gold clamps. The speed is worse, and honestly, it's really a choice of preference. You can have the cool name, or you can have the better stats. Me personally, I really like Silver Handles for Days and Silver Space Creator, so the build that I'm going to use is going to be the 6'5" point forward. Another thing that this build has on the point forward is it has height. It is 6'7". So you're going to get a lot more blocks. You're going to be able to contest bigs. Well, not really, because you still have a 25 interior. But you're going to be able to play a little bit more inside. Obviously, the higher dunk is attractive because you get gold contact finisher. You also have the opportunity to get gold acrobat. However, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter all too much. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to do more build reviews, hopefully this in-depth as well with different combinations. I notice a lot of creators just drop one version of the build, don't really put any explanation about why the stats are the greatest or the badges that they run. So I thought it would be cool to give multiple explanations for everything, badges, stats, thresholds for the badges, and obviously make multiple versions of the build for everybody to use. So I do recommend using this build. I think it's going to bring a lot of a change of pace to the game. Even if you don't take the one that has 75 handles or the one with 80 handles like I'm going to be making videos with, I think it's overall just a great build. So I hope you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.